We are planning this as an ongoing kind of forum. I mean, we kind of suspected that there was a need among therapists, practitioners, to share their ideas, their concerns, their questions about integrating spirituality and psychotherapy. You hear a lot of talk about it. There have been many books, and some of them are good. Jeffrey Rubin wrote one on psychoanalysis and Buddhism. However, as we well know, both spirituality and psychology are very complicated. There's, a plethora of schools of treatment, of psychologies, and of spiritual traditions. And just the very notion of spirituality and what various people mean by it is a bit confusing. And also, despite the fact that many of us are very familiar with both spirituality and treatment and psychology, we sometimes get the impression that everybody is, that this is kind of mainstream. I could tell you that it really isn't, and many of you know that too. I'm going to national conventions in psychology and related fields, that spirituality is still very much marginalized. Okay? It's perhaps getting more attention today, and it has a long history. Of course, much of the division started when academic psychology, the field of psychology, decided it wanted to be scientific and wanted to break away, that was at the turn of the last century, from spirituality, from religion, from philosophy, from the unseen world. They wanted to ground psychology in materialism, things that you could see and touch, particularly behaviorism, that they had to see it to make it real. And that's part of an ancient division, really. I mean, science, historically, was always searching for the fundamental material ground of reality. One time it was thought to be the atom, and then we found smaller and smaller particles. But quite interestingly, just when psychology was placing all its bets on materialism, physics actually was working in the other direction. They were beginning to abandon that, finding that as they got into nano and sub-nano particles, at one point, materialism disappeared and morphed into the unseen, which was supposed to be the division between science and spirituality. So that no longer exists, and as a matter of fact, psychology really has not caught up to the 21st century, really, that the world of the so-called unseen and the world of the seen, materialism, and how reality morphs out of kind of nothingness, which is what science has found, now has considerable credibility. Okay, but we have not merged these two. Now that's what we want to do here at the Association for Spirituality and Psychotherapy. Now these are very lofty ideas, but today we're going to bring it down to a very concrete level of cases. In one particular case, we made the focus of this meeting today depression, but as many of you know, every case involves everything. Okay, so that's just going to be the focus, and subsequent meetings will have other focuses. But the intention here tonight is to use the case as a springboard to define the issues, to explore the questions about the integration of spirituality and psychotherapy. So in effect, we're going to kind of take the position of the beginner's mind, that we don't know very much and we want to find out and question, because often I find that in the so-called dialogues between psychotherapy and spirituality, I've attended meetings on the interface of Buddhism and psychotherapy, and often I find they talk past each other. That the Buddhists talk Buddhism, the therapists talk therapy, and there's never a real integration. And I think also that real integration requires an acknowledgement at the beginning. And this is a very difficult question. It's rarely posed, that if you're having a discussion, dialogue among many different spiritualities and psychological traditions, I think each should say to the other what is incomplete about their knowledge and what they think they're looking for to gain from the other. Because if we can't have that kind of foundation for a dialogue, then it's really not a dialogue, but it's a friendly divorce. We'll be cordial, we'll talk to each other, but no intimacy. So we're going to try to change that today and address those issues.